Hey everybody, Dr. Rick here this morning. Thank you for joining us this beautiful spring Utah morning. What we're going to work on today is my fog lights on my motorhome. Actually, one of them went out. We were driving home in a pretty bad blizzard storm probably about a month ago, maybe 5-6 weeks ago. Anyways, that's why the motorhome's so dirty, but what we want to do is retrofit them. I actually like the newer style lights that's on the Jeeps. So what we're going to do is try to take these off and get them put on, and basically we'll give you some links for the lights we use, stuff like that if you're interested, and other things. So we'll be back with you shortly. So with this style here, we have the bolts going in the side and the two top nuts holding the bracket on, and then of course the plug. So what we have to do is figure out what how we're going to take this to the Jeep lights, which has 4 brackets, bolt holes. So we'll have to retrofit something, but we'll figure it out as we go along. Okay everyone, so we're back. Took us about 5 minutes to get these off here. You can see these were actually mounted, and then they just had this bracket like this bolted to another bracket. And what I have is these lights, which actually swivel on here. They're made for a Jeep, and they actually bolt right here. So I have to convert something that will actually have this bolt pattern up top, and then give me something to bolt my lights into here. So that's what we're going to be working on. We'll keep you up to date. So be back. Okay, so what I've been doing is going through my stash of metal and stuff like that laying around, and I found these 3 pieces of band strap in here. What I think I'm going to do is take this aluminum, which I think would be rigid enough, especially after I put a couple angles in it, and try to recreate one of these brackets a little wider. Might have to grind it out a little bit to get around the arch here. But pretty much these lights were just screwed into the plastic of the OEM bumper of a Jeep. And I only know that because we've actually replaced the bumper on our Jeep. So we'll see if we can make this into something like this. It's just a hair wider. We'll be back. Okay, so what we're trying to do is I just trace this pattern with a little bit more here, so I can get me some measurements of what I really need, what I don't, because I know that this will give me center line mark. So pretty much I know where my bolt holes are and how far I go. So these were in this mark here, so I know that I need to actually be close. It actually was in this one to be center. So I'm going to go off just the hair. And with this one. Okay, so that should put me in the center of my hole. Yeah, so if I burn an inch, that's a 2-inch. And then we got here. So roughly we're 1, 2, and 13/16. Make sure it's the same over here. Yep. 2 and 13/16. Okay, so basically I need the bracket to have 2-inch up top. Make sure I go my width. On this one here, my width is actually a little wider. So we're close to just a minimum of 3 3/8, but I really need to be here, so about 5 inches. So I don't know what this one is, but it's roughly 3 inches, and I need another inch for each side on my mountain flange. So I'll go ahead and lay something out, but that's how I kind of came up with my numbers. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I don't know if you can see this or not very well. I'll try to tilt it a little bit for you. So I took this pattern, and I know that my fold was 2 5/16. So basically, for my bracket up above, This light for center line has to drop down, but from the bracket down to the center at 2 5/16. So I need a 4-inch leg to hit my center line. This is a 3-inch where these ears are going to be fastened into it. So now I just need to come up with my width. So each side is going to be 4 inches to get my height centered in the hole. And now I just got to figure out the width. So it's not too hard yet. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to make a bracket that comes across 5 inches. Then when I fold it in, so it'll be 5 inches, come down 4 inches, and it'll be like this. Then what I'm going to do then is cut this halfway through and fold it in, and then drill my holes for right in here. So that's what we're going to do to get it going. I'll be back after we get it made. Okay, so I'm going to use the chop saw to cut this. You can use hacksaw, whatever. Just don't forget your safety eyes and ears. I should cut it like this, but I like seeing my mark better. Get it out of the rain. Okay, so we're back. Got our brackets cut. I'm going to go deburr them and then round the edges, and then we're going to start bending. Okay, I have a rigid power sander over there, like that does the spools, spindles and stuff. Just went over and deburred them here. I do like the rigid stuff because the lifetime warranty. I believe in buying something once. Every now and then I'll buy something a little cheaper because I don't think I'm going to wear it out. But okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I got to get to my center line for my 5-inch here. So my brackets are 13. It's going to be 6.5 for center line, and then 2.5 on each side of that. So I'll go to 10, so I get a little better. 0, 1, 2.5, 1, 2.5. And that should leave me 4-inch ends here. Pretty close. Pretty close. So same thing. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so see if I can find my marker here that I had. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to flip these center, but remember I got my holes 2 inches on center here, so I should probably, while I'm here, run a inch mark in each one of these. That way when I go to the drill press, I already have everything in line. Okay, so there's those ones. I guess we need to kind of draw our center lines here to the 2 5/16 of where those are going to be. So from the bend, but I'll probably wait till I bend them, so that way in case it bends off of here, that's pretty close. So be back in a minute here. Okay, so what I ended up doing was drawing where my center line is, because what's happening here is I want to make sure I get a little better bolt pattern. So I'm actually going to go oval these out on the belt, the table sander, whatever you want to call that thing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. All I do is take it to the edge of the belt sander and rounded them a little bit so they'd fit around here a little better. I'm just trying to get past this notch. You actually don't need to do it, and there's many ways you can do it, like a little hacksaw if you want to. No one's going to see this stuff. Just easy for me because I had the tool. Okay, so we're going to work on bending this now, but we're going to cut this down about halfway. So basically we can fold it over like that, then our bracket's going to go across the top. So back in a few seconds. So before I go do that, I do want to mark this halfway point here. So one of the techniques I use, speed square quite a bit, is here. So it's 1.5. So we're roughly at 3/4 here. Do the same on this side. So I don't want to go past that point with my cut. All I do is slide the lead underneath the Of course, my lead's getting pretty narrow here now. Okay, so of course it'd help if I actually did it in the right spot. You can see that one. That one. Which is good because when I go to bend it, that's actually the spots that I need to do. And I'm just going to use a vise to bend it, so it probably won't be very pretty for that. Slide a little more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut here down to here, and then we'll move it from there. So I don't know if you'll be able to see me here. Hopefully I give you enough room there. Again, you can use a hacksaw, anything you want. Okay, so now we're going to go deeper with this, and then we'll work on what we got to do. We got to fold it here and then in or up. So we're going to make this more of an angle iron, this a flat piece. Okay, back in a few minutes. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, so what I've been doing here, so we've already made one, pretty much, and then we got the holes where the center line is going to be, and then we'll show you how we're going to do the holes here, but doing is using the vise, bending it in on itself. So that's one reason when I seen this scrap aluminum laying around, I actually snagged it up real fast because I do like working with aluminum. So as you can see, this is what we had. So we're going to bend it down, then we're going to bend the other side. And so make sure it's tight. Okay, so that's one side. Make sure it's kind of all the way down. Okay, now we're going to do the other side to match it. So I don't want to use this end. Lots of times I'll turn my jaws around. So what I want to do is go like this and then bend the top over. So we have the same. I just want to make sure I'm got about the same exposure on top and bottom. Okay, so when I bend this in, we're facing the same way. Make sure you got clearance. Looks pretty good. Okay, so we have two flanges. So now what we want to do is bend these inward. So I can do this one like this here. Pull it back just a hair. So pretty much as you can see, we got the very similar. And it will spring a little bit, but once you get your bolts in there, you're going to be doing fine. Then while I use this one, so what we're going to do is use this one here. So before I was fortunate enough to have a vise, I would actually just use clamps and put them in the metal and like that. So now we got two of these that you can see are identical. So what we want to do, by the way, this is the tool I use here for rounding them out. I actually just held it against here when it was straight. So now we'll go over here and mark these out. So this is the bottom. gotta figure out what hole I want to use. But remember earlier where I did this center line mark here from here to here? And that's what this was from the top of my bracket. Well, if I just line that up in that hole there on both sides, now you can actually able to mark where I want to drill. My tip is not long enough on this little hole, which I'll probably I'll probably be making that one, this one just a hair bigger. So, but you guys can figure out how to do that, I'm pretty sure. So line these up again on both sides. That looks pretty good. There we go. So now we got to drill the holes we have, find the right bolts that we want to use, and then we'll drill some holes here once we figure its setback out. So the nice thing about this, we can actually now figure out the setback on here, but we'll go over that in a few minutes. Thanks. Okay, so what we end up doing, we're going to end up, we had a bunch more of these, and we did the 10 by 24s with the locking nuts, so we're just going to go ahead and drill these out a little bit to actually give us a to fit the new bolt size. Okay, so everything's good here. Do the other one. That's why we left the plastic on the face of them, so we didn't actually scratch them up too bad. Okay, so the next step, we're going to run another drill press and put these in here. So you can follow us over there, or I'm going to wear your safety gear. Drill press isn't loud, but we want to make sure we can actually hear. We want to make sure, what I was trying to say is we want to make sure we can actually use our hearing protection when we think there's an issue with it. So this is all bent crooked because I actually had my worktop table out there, my welding table behind it. Before I do that, what I'm going to actually do is center punch them over here. Okay, let's go back to the press. This is always a wonderful place to be because so much going on here in this one. We usually have so many projects going that it's hard to really tell what's what we should be doing and what we aren't doing at any particular time. This building might want to slip down. There we go. Put a little pressure on it. little bit of slippage. I have to put a piece of wood or something behind it. Grab something here. Where were we? Maybe get a smaller piece of wood. Okay, and see if I can find a smaller piece.
On the window ledge.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a little piece of wood in there to, that way when I squeeze the clamp it will hold straighter and not push down. See, I can put way more pressure on it that way, huh? So we have one down. Do the other one. So it's not being an angle I don't want it to be. Let me set it here. Okay, you can see the wood was kind of getting beat up pretty bad. So we'll have to do is figure out where the top holes are going to be. So our brackets are designed to go like this. So we'll put a couple temporaries in here. Okay, so that's pretty close where it's going to be. The main thing that I am concerned with now is if I put this here to the, so what I'm trying to do is let's say this is seated against my bracket here. And I'm trying to line up to where the light front would be the same. So let me grab the screw that's over here for those. I'll be right back. So my brackets in here are slotted. So if you want to look in here, you can see that they're slotted pretty good right there. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that I'm good to go here. And we already looked at it in the front. And as long as I put my holes in the center where I had it, we're good to go. So you're going to take a picture of the front, Jude. That look like it's pretty decent.
A little up.
Right here.
Yeah.
So one thing too is these have adjustment screws on them. So we'll have to, actually they're Allen wrenches. We'll have to figure out where we want them height-wise, but overall we're almost done. We just need to follow in here in the center since those are slotted. Let's go.
Did you want me to take a picture of that?
So we just center punch these. We're gonna drill these and we'll spread this out a little bit to make sure the chuck actually clears it. So simple enough. You guys saw about the chuck not clearing earlier. So what we're doing is we're going to tighten this one here, up here. So make sure I go the right direction. This one. Okay, I think this is pretty close to where we want it. A little bit of a hard time seeing that. Try to get this to where we're going, and these are slotted, of course, because you don't want the be blinding the people before you, front of you. Okay, so try to get this kind of where we're in the center here. That look pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to tighten these up. Now I will have to adjust the light. There's that little Allen head wrench. Allen heads down here set that we'll have to be for up and down and stuff like that. Okay, so our brackets seem to work pretty good. Let's go out here and give them a try. so as you can see, we got them on. Jay, go ahead and turn them on. Good deal. So we got some nice bright fog lights. Turn your brights on. Okay, so as you can see, they go off, which is pretty common. So turn the brights off. Okay, and then turn the tail lights on, leave the fog lights on. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and turn the fog lights off. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a relay on the fog lights so they work with brights. Turn the fog lights back on. And if you notice, the halos are not working right here because I haven't hooked up that outer wire. I'm waiting on some clips, but we'll do that when we do the relay. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to thank you guys for taking the time to join us again. Let us know if there's any projects. Remember to subscribe right here. Help us out. And as you can see, they're on. They're pretty bright compared to the headlights. If you look at the previous photos. The other thing I'd like you to know too is we haven't lined them up. So what I'm going to do is wait till it gets dark out, get them out here, get it on the road, line them up. But right now I got the jacks for the front up, so I got more room for clearance. So that won't be happening today. I'm going to have a few more little projects I'm going to do while the jack's up. So thank you again.